Are you becoming more sensitive and starting to have more emotions involved in how you're relating with the world around you, or even with how you feel about things going on in your personal life? I want to talk to you about why this might be happening and how this is actually a part of your ascension process of reconnecting with your soul presence, the part of you that is eternal. And why I'm in this, I am also going to cover a topic about oversouls and what exactly is an oversoul. So stay tuned, and we're going to talk about how sensitive you're becoming as you ascend and your oversoul.
Welcome to the Soul Alignment Mentor Podcast. I'm your host, Angie, and I'm inviting you to explore the depths of self-sabotage, limiting mindsets, and the beliefs that hinder our progress in life. Through intuitive messages I receive from my spirit team, I share profound insights to help you live authentically and break free from these limitations. Join me now as we uncover all the keys to living your best life.
Welcome back. My name is Angie, and I'm your Soul Alignment Mentor, bringing you intuitive messages to help you align with your most authentic and highest self. So as you know, if you've been following me, I bring teachings to help you to align with your soul. And some of that can be difficult because what is going on with you? If you're going through the ascension process, if you're awakening, you're probably starting to notice all kinds of strange things with your body, with your emotions, with how you feel about the world around you, maybe how you feel about yourself or the personal circumstances going on in your life. When you go through an awakening, it seems like the world is just being flipped upside down. And the reason for that is because you are shifting out of a frequency of survival into the frequency of being able to just flow. But your ego is going to want to fight this process because it doesn't trust or understand what it means to be in the flow of your spirit. Up until recently, and the real ascension process has been going on since the beginning of time. However, things have really started to speed up for humanity, which within the last 2,000 years, I would say, but particularly in the time that we're in right now, around 2006 is what my spirit team is saying, things started to amp up a little bit more. And as we've moved through the process, we've been going through different waves of awakening. And there have been waves going on with humanity forever, basically. I mean, there was a wave awakening when Jesus walked the earth. But this has been intensified over the last 20 to 30 years. And it's become even more increasingly intensified in the last 10 years. So if you've been on your awakening journey within, I would say, the last 15 to 16 years, you may have noticed a lot of shifts in how you feel about yourself, how you feel about the world. Maybe you're starting to notice things that maybe you hadn't noticed before. And this can be hard, confusing, but also kind of freeing in a way to not be so confined and controlled by the narratives of what you think was true before your awakening to what you're awakening to know the truth is now. But why is that causing you to become more sensitive? Why are you suddenly starting to have more emotions? Why are you starting to feel more anxious feelings or worry? Or why are you starting to notice things that you hadn't noticed before? Well, when you're in a dense frequency, and I've explained this on some of my other platforms, you cannot see past where you are. And the way that my spirit team explained this to me the other day was through being able to see through water. So I'm going to take you on a journey and just come with me as I explain this. But I want you to imagine that we are underwater and we're in a really murky, muddy lake. We go all the way to the bottom of this muddy lake. Our feet are in the bottom of this lake in the mud. And we're beings that can open our eyes in this water. Now, how far can you see? What can you see around you at the bottom of this lake in this murky, muddy water? Likely nothing. And if you do see anything, it's going to be really, really close to where your eyes are or where your face is. You might even feel something go by you that you didn't even know was there. So that is what it's like to live in density. That is the energetics of the 3D world that we have all been living in. So basically, we have just been in survival mode. We have been in a place of trying to stay alive, trying to find ways to have what we need to protect ourselves, to, go day by day. And if you have gone through your awakening process, you've noticed maybe you're starting to think, I don't really want to do this survival thing. Like, I feel like there's more to life. I feel like just going to work every day and doing the same thing every day isn't the purpose of this experience. And if you feel that, you likely are ascending in some type of way. Now, it doesn't mean that when we awaken that we leave our job or we leave people or things are behind, but it can be possible that that does happen if it's not aligned and resonating with the frequency in which you are shifting into. So, some of the reasons that we are shifting into being more sensitive as we ascend is because we are letting go of that dense energy, that muddy, murky water, and we're starting to rise up in our frequency. Now, imagine that your feet become loose of this dirty, mucky, yucky water at the bottom of this lake, and you start to rise a little bit more. Now, being able to see clearly hasn't fully happened, but you might be able to see just a little bit more, and the distance might be a little bit better. Maybe you can see about 5 feet in front of you, when before, when you were at the very, very bottom, you couldn't even see an inch before you. And so now you're starting to notice new things. You're starting to see new things. And you're like, oh my gosh, I had no idea this was around me. I had no idea this was going on. I had no idea that there was so much more beyond what I could comprehend when I was in this lower dense energy in this really murky water. And so what you do is you move into that next phase and you acclimate your body, your mind, your energy. And in order to get there, you have to start clearing out everything that was related to that murky water. And this is why people start going through the healing process. This is why they start wanting to study and learn new things. This is why there's a lot of things that start driving you to wanting to kind of pull in information. What is going on with me? What is this sudden realization that I'm having? Is this, what I've been taught, is it true? How can I find the truth? Like, all these things start coming to you. And that's because you're starting to awaken and you're starting to actually remember that you are not just a dense human being. And so you're in this next phase, and then you're starting to awaken more. You're doing the healing work. You're reaching out, you're working with a healer such as myself or someone else. You're, getting a psychic reading. What is my next step? You're starting to learn about mediumship. Oh, we can talk to spirits. I didn't know that. Oh, we have spirit guides. Oh, we have angels. Like, all these different things start coming into your awareness. Then you start to work on learning and integrating these new things. And you might start to feel your body changing as well. Maybe you don't want to eat certain foods. Maybe you want to change the way you engage with something. Maybe that person that you've been best friend with is no longer aligned with where you're going because they're still in the muddy, murky water. There's nothing wrong with that. It just means that your frequency and levels are shifting. And in order for you to keep ascending, you have to let go of the denseness. So you start working on this, and the next thing you know, you rise a little bit higher. And the higher you get in this murky water, the clearer it gets because the sun is closer to the top of the water. And the sun is our soul. The sun is our spirit. The sun is source energy. The sun is what provides the light for us to see things around us and within us. So each time we raise in our frequency, this is what it's like. We're moving through this murky pond and we're awakening more and more and more to our truth and to the subtle things around us that we didn't know were there. And when you start to open yourself to the subtle things around you, you start to realize, oh my gosh, there's way more emotions in me than I thought there were. I had no idea I felt like that. I had no idea that this was happening in the world. And oh my gosh, now that I see that, I am heartbroken. I am torn apart about the fact that people are treated like this. When you're in murky water, you could not see that. So as you awaken, you are becoming less and less in a place of density of survival mode where you are allowing your human ego to control the way that you see and experience the world, and you're tapping back into your higher frequency, and that part of you is beginning to see and experience the world around you. And so therefore you're becoming more and more sensitive to frequency, more and more sensitive to emotions and to physical changes and to energetic changes and to spiritual understandings, having contact with your spirit guides, with loved ones on the other side, with your angels, maybe aliens, whatever it might be. So you're opening yourself up to this new way of thinking. And when you integrate into that, it becomes your norm. It starts to feel like, oh wait, yeah, I've always known this. I just forgot. And so you just keep working on it and you keep shifting in your frequency and rising in your frequency. So you're becoming more and more attuned with your oversoul, with the truth of who you are, and less attuned with the misalignment where your ego was controlling the narrative of who you were. And that ego part of you no longer is having to rule how you work on this world, and you're allowing your spirit to guide you a little bit more. And the spirit, the intuitive gifts that we have through our spirit, work through energy. It works through the sensitivities of our body's frequency, which are emotions, which are feelings, which are being able to connect with the frequency of energies around us. And the more you ascend, the more you awaken, you might start to notice you even become more and more sensitive to other people's emotions, other people's feelings. Maybe without realizing it, I do this, you start to feel really anxious one day and you're like, what? Why am I anxious? Well, someone around you might be feeling anxious and you might be picking up on their energy field. And so this is what happens when you are shifting into that new energy and rising up in that murky water where you're becoming more and more clear. Not only can you see more, you feel more, you experience more, because you are becoming a light being, a lighter being. And the more that your light shifts, the less dense it is. And when you're in a dense frequency, you feel the denseness. And so the lightness that you're moving into awakens your subtle energetic field to feel and to move in a different way. Now, your oversoul, we all have an oversoul. The oversoul is literally like the only way I can describe this is, and I've explained this in some of my parallel live videos as well, but let me grab my board here and I will draw you a picture. Okay, so here's your oversoul. And Spirit has given me visions about this based on maybe like, and I don't want to go too much into this because this is pretty advanced teaching, but based on the development of your soul and where you are in your soul's evolution. But we all have a frequency oversoul. Now, the first thing I want you to know is that we are all direct replicas of source energy God. And so we're going to put God up here. And this is God. So basically it's source energy. Source energy is the being of all things, the creator of all things. Now, source energy creates little its out of itself, which are these different souls. So we all have a frequency that comes out of source. Now, this part of you is your oversoul. That's the part of you that came directly from source energy God. Now, this part of your soul, because it's God wants to experience itself in different dimensions. But in order to do that, it creates a part of itself that can experience itself in different dimensions. So this part of you, the oversoul, so this is you, your oversoul. sorry if you can't see that, your oversoul. So this is your oversoul, and your oversoul is going to start sending out parts of itself into the universe to experience itself in different forms. So this may be one thing. They're all going to be different things, and they could all be different human forms in different timelines. But let's say that this one is you in year 2025 or whatever year you're watching this. In 2025, I'm Angie. So this is Angie. But how can I have other experiences happening at the same time? Well, as you can see, it's creating multiples of itself. So this part of me over here could be a Pleiadian or an Octarian or an angel. It could be a completely different energetic field, completely different dimension experiencing itself. But that part of me is still me connected to me. So this oversoul never changes. It's just sending out frequencies that experience itself, which then come back into the oversoul's experience, which allows the oversoul to create more of itself, which allows source energy to create more of itself. So that is the process of oversouls with your soul, your current frequency. So you're split off. Only a part of your soul is in this human experience. And the other parts of your soul is in other experiences. And it could be human experiences. It could be aliens. It could be animals. It could be anything. We have no way of really understanding that. But each time this frequency increases, everything increases because we are all one. Now, this is even works for you and I. Like when I grow in my frequency, that's why as someone that came to Earth as a starseed, as someone, like I said, I don't want to go too much into this, as an interdimensional spirit that has grown and advanced in another realm that volunteered to come to Earth, part of my soul is still connected with the Octarians or whatever planetary system that part of my soul is in. And so I work with that part of my soul to channel messages to bring to you, to teach you what is actually happened beyond this human experience. So as you can see, as everything is shifting and growing and everything is ascending, everything is letting go of that density, and your oversoul is growing and expanding and merging. And what the goal of it all is to create more of source energy God, because we are that energy. So what God is doing, or source, or whatever you want to call this creative being that is breathing and speaking and thinking into existence, we are those energies that it's using to create more of itself. And it's becoming more and more and more aware of itself. Now, source energy God is complete love. And there's no way to describe this love in a human form. There's no way to connect with it. There's no way to really truly being able to comprehend it because of the density that we live in. But this energetic form of love is continually increasing because it can't experience itself outside of love. It creates itself in a new form to learn from something that is not itself. And that's what we are. We are learning about the different dimensions that source created to experience itself. And what we're doing is we're moving our way back into the frequency of God to be like God. And that is the whole purpose of us even having different dimensional experiences, is to be like God, to understand ourselves in that frequency. And so this is why you are becoming more sensitive, because as you awaken, as you ascend, as you release dense energies, you're not only picking up on what you have felt in your body, in your energy, in your emotions, you're starting to reconnect with all parts of yourself, your oversoul, all the experiences, plus the experiences of the humans and the beings and the things around you. This is why you might feel more energetically connected to nature. This is why you might feel more energetically connected with animals, or you might start wanting to save the bug instead of squishing it. It's because you're becoming more and more aware and more sensitive to pain and to suffering. And the reason that is because we are here to transcend that and to shift it back into love. And that is what the ascension process is about, is coming back into the frequency of love, of unity, compassion, and working together as one collective energetic force that radiates the love that we hold in our oversoul, and in our oversoul that is connected with source energy God. Now, I know this is really intense to think about, and so I encourage you to sit with this for a little bit and maybe ask your higher self to explain it to you a little bit more. If you want to dive into it more, feel free to reach out to me. We can set up a one-on-one session, or come join my Ascension membership if you really want to dive into your own healing or learn more, or come to my live channelings. If you're a healer, come join my healer circle. We work together to increase our frequency and light. We support each other. We see each other. We manifest together. We remind each other of who we are so that we can be that light, so we can connect with that oversoul of who we are and stay aligned with it. So there's all kinds of options that you have to work with me, and my prices are going to be one of the lowest that you find out there. My healer circle is $35 a month. My ascension circle is $25 a month. So make your choice. If you want to do one-on-one work, that is a little bit more, of course. But I promise you that if you feel called, that your life will transform and change, and you will become more and more aware of who you are and what you're here to do on earth. So I hope this helps you. And I'm excited to continue to teach whatever Spirit has in the next video. And so don't forget to subscribe, follow, and share. Until we meet again, I wish you the best day, night, evening, whatever time it is for you. I send you all the universe.